Well, Adam McKay, first of all, I've always wanted to work with him. I'm a huge fan. And when I read the script, I just thought I thought it was genius. It was hilarious. It's the funniest script maybe I've ever read, and only got funnier when, seeing actors like Jonah Hill. um, and I thought it was such a poignant way to get such an important point across, that people don't need to be fighting each other in science. We need to be fighting this collective war to save humanity together. Kate Dibiasky is a student in astronomy at Michigan State, and we find her in Hawaii working on the Subaru telescope, and she ends up discovering a comet. Kate Dibiasky is a truth teller, so when she tries to tell this news to the rest of the world and is met with resistance or just, complete and utter disbelief, it's really upsetting. And you can really see Kate really gets a hard look at life in the public and social media. When Kate and Randall start off on their journey to try to warn the world, obviously starting with the president, that there is this catastrophic event coming, and the president tries to downplay it because she's afraid of the midterms. I think it's just extremely anxiety-inducing and upsetting because you want to just scream to everybody, that this is coming. And then it just gets more frustrating and more frustrating. I'm a huge fan of Adam McKay. I've always wanted to work with him. I've seen all of his movies. I love all of his movies. And he's the perfect person to be able to tell a story like this, to bring humor and satire to such a troubling and honest problem. I mean, the biggest problem facing humanity. It's really a job that only Adam McKay could pull off. There was a lot of improv in the film. I mean, I think we left most of it up to Jonah Hill, who's an expert. But yeah, Adam made us feel very free. Well, Adam is just, he's a comedy writer as well, as he's directing it, but he's also just coming up with hilarious material as we're going and is giving you great, hilarious stuff, line after line after line. Working with Leo was fantastic. I've always been a huge fan. He's an amazing actor. And we had a blast. To prepare for this film, I spoke to a great astronomer named Amy Mainzer, and most of my questions were really just about a female's life in the world, in the world of astronomy, since they're so outnumbered. When we first set off on this journey to warn the world, and we have our experience on the morning show, I immediately become just the villain to the world. I am the face of this comet, and am just like the holder of the world's vitriol and these horrible memes. And Dr. Mindy becomes this just sexy astronomer that everybody loves and feels so comforted by. And yeah, we go in very, very different directions. I mean, we shot this right in the heart of COVID. It was really scary and sad, but it was really nice to be able to kind of be around people in this safe setting. But it was crazy just how timely the movie was becoming as we were making it. Originally, it was a completely different metaphor, and then as we're shooting, it can be used as another metaphor for how the public would react to a public health crisis. I mean, I would really hope that audiences take away from this that we don't need to be fighting ourselves. We should be fighting this common threat to humanity, which is the climate crisis and what we're doing to the planet, to our only home. I think politicians and Facebook and misinformation has just turned us against each other, and it's just distracting from the biggest issue facing humanity. Well, the film is about how people react to a scary truth. So watching one example after another, climate change or COVID, or the election, how certain people react to scary truths that they don't want to hear, is only going to become more, I mean, it's always going to be relevant. I think making such a difficult thing to talk about, like climate change, lighthearted and funny, pointing out the embarrassing truths in all of us, it kind of leaves this blameless place where we can actually look at an issue and laugh at and discuss the issue instead of pointing fingers at each other.